Hey friends, it's Miss Nikki, and we're here again at First Kids, and I'm here with my friend
Joe again.
Joe again. All right, well, again. That reminds me of a song, Grin Again, Gang, Get Gun Cold about Jesus. Have you ever heard that song? Smile sweetly, Susan, so your sin, Satan sadly away. Look up, Brother Bill, because a bunch of bitter boys became a bunch of better boys with a big, big smile. Grin again, gang, get gun cold about Jesus. I should teach you that song sometime. But that is not why we're here today, Joe. It just like popped in my head. I haven't sang that song. Grin again,
We're doing
gang.
the again thing.
We're doing the again thing, which makes me think about Grin Again Gang. All right, so we are back with our color crayons lessons in our series, and today I want to know, Joe, what you would color if you were going to color something with the color brown. What would you color?
Probably color like tree or dirt or something.
Okay, tree or dirt. And so the color brown reminds me of a very, very popular story in the Bible about David, and it is about David and Goliath.
I know that story.
You know that story? And so we're going to talk about today David and Goliath, and it is found in the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 17, verses 20 through 49. That is 29 verses. And so I don't want to read 29 verses, so I brought my fun little kids Bible with me, and so I'm going to read it out of there today. It says, "The enemies of God's people came out to fight, and they sent their best fighter out first, and his name was Goliath. And he was over 9 feet tall, and he called to the army of Saul, 'Choose a man to come and fight me. If he wins, we will be your servants, but if I win, you will be our servants.' The men in Saul's army were afraid. They knew Goliath was stronger than they were. No one wanted to fight him. Now David's brothers were in Saul's army, but David was at home keeping the sheep." Remember, David's a shepherd. "And one day David's father called to him. 'Take this food to your brothers,' he said. So David got to go to his brothers. He got to see the army. He also got to see Goliath, and he saw how everyone was afraid of him. David said, 'I'll fight Goliath.' But Saul said, 'You're only a boy. How can you fight Goliath?' 'God will help me,' David said. So Saul gave David his armor and helmet. He gave him a sword. David tried them on, but they were way too heavy because David was just a young boy. And David gave them back to Saul. 'I'm not used to these,' he said. Instead, David chose 5 smooth stones from a stream. He took his sling in his hand, and David called to Goliath, 'You come with a sword and a spear, but I come to you in the name of God. The battle is the Lord's.' The giant came closer to fight David, but David put a stone in his sling, and he threw it at Goliath. And the stone hit Goliath right in his forehead, and Goliath fell to the ground, and David trusted God, and God helped David win. All the people were glad." And so the color brown in this story reminds me of the stones and the sling that David used to kill Goliath. And so David went against thousands of years of military wisdom. He went into battle with just a sling and 5 smooth stones. He didn't use the armor and the things that Saul tried to give him. They were too much for him. And but he knew who was with him in that battle. God was with him. And that he didn't go into the battle alone. He went into the battle with God. And so the day that David went to the Israelite camp, why did he go that day? Do you remember why he was going there? He went to take something.
He went to take...
You don't remember? He went to take food to his brothers. His dad sent him to take food to his brothers. And why didn't anyone else want to fight Goliath?
Because they were too afraid.
They were so afraid of Goliath. He was huge. He was over 9 feet tall. And what did the people say when David said, "I'll fight him"? What was their response?
We were like, "You're too young. You're too small."
Yeah, "You're too young. You're too small." And how did David defeat Goliath?
By a sling and stone, and with the power of God,
he had only a sling and a stone, which the brown reminds us of, but he also had, like you said, had God on his side. And with God's help, he defeated him. And so David was just a young boy, and he was trusting God to help him to win the battle. And it reminds us that young people, that God can use young people too, that God can use kids even today. And it's probably not going to be to fight an actual 9-foot-tall giant, but he can use kids to stand up for him and to do the right thing. And when other people are too afraid to do it, that kids could stand up and be available to God, and God could use them, right? And they could know that with God on their side, that they could be victorious, just like David was victorious with just a sling and a stone. So how cool is that? So boys and girls, when you see the color brown, be reminded that God can use you just like he used David. That's super cool. So bye, friends. We hope to see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.